This is lesson 19-9, summarizing data distributions. Our essential question, how can a data set be summarized? Basically, we're going to take everything we've learned, mean, median, mode, outlier, and box plots, dot plots, histograms, and we're going to kind of combine all that together. There's no vocab for this lesson. Example 1, we're just finding the mean. But as you can tell, we have some fractions. So you have to remember how to add fractions, because to find the mean, we add them all up and then divide by how many numbers there are. So let's just deal with the numbers that have fractions first. 38.5 plus 37 3/4 plus 38 1/4. Now remember, when you add fractions, you have to have a common denominator. Our common denominator is going to be 4. So since these two numbers already have 4 as the denominator, we don't need to change them. 38.5 is the only one we need to change. We need to get 4 as our denominator. So I know if I multiply 2 times 2, it's going to give me 4. So all I have to do is multiply the numerator by 2 also. So I change it to 38 2/4. Now I can add. First, add your whole numbers. So 38 plus 38 plus 37 plus 38, which equals 113. Add all of your numerators. So 2 plus 3 plus 1 is 6. And you know your denominator stays the same as 4. Now 6/4 is an improper fraction. So we need to change that to a mixed number. So to change that to a mixed number, we just divide it. 6 divided by 4. We're just looking at the fraction part right now. 6 divided by 4. So our new mixed number for that is 1 2/4. I changed the improper, so I can cross that out because I don't need it anymore. I just changed it to a mixed number. And all you need to do is add that to your whole number. So 113 plus 1 is 114. And you don't have any fraction except for 2/4. So we just leave it as 2/4. Now let's go ahead and add our other two numbers that didn't have fractions. So we have 114 2/4. That's the number we just found. We've already added these three numbers, so cross them off. And we just need to add 38 plus 38 to that. So we add our whole numbers. 114 plus 38 plus 38 is 190. And we just have this one fraction, so we just keep it. We don't have anything to add to it or subtract from it. So it's 190 2/4. But that's only the first part. You remember, when you find the mean, you add up all the numbers. That's what we just did. But then you have to divide by how many numbers there are. In this case, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. So we have 190 2/4 divided by 5. Now we can't really divide with a fraction, so I know that 2/4 is the same as a half, which is the same as 5/10. So really I have 190 5/10 divided by 5 numbers. And I can go ahead and just divide like normal. Don't forget to bring that decimal straight up. And our mean is 38 1/10. Example 2, find the interquartile range. Remember that is when you subtract the first quartile and the third quartile. So in order to do that, our first step is to find the median. Put them in order, least to greatest, 37 3/4, 38, 38, 38 1/4, and 38 1/2. Cross them off until you get to the number in the middle, which is 38. So there's our median. Now to find the first quartile, you look at the numbers before the median and you find the one in the middle. We have 37 3/4 and 38. 37 3/4. 3/4 is the same as 75/100. We've learned that. Plus 38. We only have two numbers, so we're going to add them up and divide by 2. And we get 75 75/100. We're going to divide by 2, bring the decimal straight up. I ran out of space, so I'm going to finish it up here. So it goes in 7 times, which is 14, which leaves 1 left over. 2 can't go into 1, so we add our 0. And 2 goes into 10 5 times. So there's our first quartile. The first is 37 875 thousandths. Now let's do the third quartile. Remember, it's all the numbers after the median. So we have 38 1/4. We know 1/4 is 25/100. So 38 25/100 plus 38 1/2. We know 1/2 is the same as 50/100 or 5/10. We're going to add them up. And we get 76 75/100, which we divide by 2. If you have two numbers in the middle, you always have to divide by 2. Bring the decimal up, and we just divide. We add on our 0, and the third quartile is going to be 38 375 thousandths. Now, remember when you find the range, which is what we're looking for, you just subtract biggest minus smallest, or in this case, our first quartile and our third quartile. So we have 38 375 thousandths right here, minus 37 875 thousandths. And then we just subtract like we normally would. Bring your decimal straight down. So when we take away those zeros, we don't really need those zeros on the end. Our answer is 5/10. Example number 3, find the median. So as you know, we have to put them in order, least to greatest. 37 3/4, 38, 38, 38 1/4, and 38 1/2. Median, cross them off until you find the number in the middle, which is 38. So our median is 38. And example 4, draw a box plot. So remember, let's go ahead and put them in order again, least to greatest. 37 3/4, 38, 38, 38 1/4, and 38 1/2. So we need several things for a box plot. We need to know the minimum. Here's our minimum, 37 3/4. We need to know the maximum, which is 38 1/2. We need to know the median, the number in the middle, which is 38. We need to know the first quartile. So you look at the numbers before the median, and you find what's in the middle of them. So we have 37 3/4, and 38. We only have two numbers, so let's go ahead and add those up and divide by 2. So 37 3/4 is the same as 37 7/500. 3/4 is 7/500. Plus 38. Remember, you can add the decimal and the zeros so you can line them up evenly. Bring the decimal straight down. We have 75 7/500, which needs to be divided by 2 because there's two numbers. So we bring the decimal up and we divide like normal. And we already got this answer in a previous example, so I'm just going to write it up here. 37 875,000. So I'm going to put that down here as our answer. 37 875,000. Now let's do the third quartile, which is the numbers after the median. Again, we only have two numbers after the median. So we're going to add them up and divide by 2 like we did before. So 38 1/4 is the same, 1/4 is the same as 2/500. Plus 38 1/2, we know a half is 50 hundredths. Bring the decimal down. And we get 76 7/500. And then, of course, we have to divide that by 2 since there are two numbers. Bring the decimal up. 2 goes into 76 38 times. And we add our 0, and it goes in evenly. 38 375 thousandths is our third quartile. And let's go ahead and draw our box plot. So we only need to go from 37 3/4 to 38 1/2. So 37 3/4, 38, 38 1/4, I'm counting by fourths here, and 38 1/2. And let's go ahead and plot minimum, maximum. Median is 38. First quartile is 37 875 thousandths, which is pretty close to 38. And our third quartile is 38 375 thousandths, which is going to be between 38 1/4 and 38 1/2. Connect your lines for your box and connect to the minimum and maximum. Okay, you have 4 practice problems all using the same data set. You're going to find the mean, the median, draw a box plot, and find the interquartile range, which I did in all 4 examples, so go back and look at those as needed. Don't forget a word problem or question, and rate your understanding.